Am I the asshole for getting furious at my brother for announcing that his wife was pregnant? AITA for getting upset when my brother announced that his wife was pregnant. AMIA for getting angry at my brother for having a baby with his wife. Okay, so me 21F at the time and my brother was 24, him and his wife 20, have been together at the time for over 1 year and they were going strong and was overall a very great couple. His wife was my best friend in high school, so at first it was a little awkward seeing them together, but I never showed any concern, I was just happy for them. Me and my boyfriend have been together since freshman year of high school. He was great and me and him also have a very great relationship. I was on birth control, so I knew there was no way I could get pregnant, but I knew if I ever did it would be okay because we both had stable jobs and could emotionally and financially support a baby. Well, to my surprise I missed my period, which I didn't really notice because when I'm on my birth control my periods are very light and hardly any symptoms. Anyway, I scheduled a doctor's appointment because I just didn't feel like myself, and come to find out I was 5.5 weeks pregnant. It was a shock at first and my parents were happy and we started to get used to almost being parents, and my boyfriend was so happy he was doing a lot of baby shopping and giving out name ideas. On one morning, I don't want to go into too much detail, but my boyfriend rushed me to the hospital and it turns out I had miscarried, and of course we were heartbroken, of course. We walked into my parents' house and told them the news and they were heartbroken. And then my brother and his wife came over and they looked like they had something on their mind. Well, my mom told them the sad news about losing my baby and he said, "Well, it looks like you are still gonna be a grandparents." Then he took out the ultrasound picture and showed them, and he said it in a very joyous, happy way, and all of a sudden my parents were jumping with joy and I was just standing in the corner looking hopeless. Of course I was happy for them, but my mouth got the best of me and I said, "Are you serious?" I was just bawling my eyes out and me and my BF went to the car and left. So forward to 2 years later and I love my nephew to death, but my brother still brings it up from time to time and it just makes me feel bad. But IDK, am I the asshole for reacting the way I did? Not the asshole, holy shit. I was definitely ready to call you the asshole based on the title, but this is one of the most insensitive things I've ever heard of someone doing. They all suck. A lot. Not the asshole. It looks like you are still gonna be grandparents. Following the news of your miscarriage is ridiculously insensitive. Not the asshole. Did your brother even acknowledge your miscarriage? Ever? Not the asshole. The only reason your brother should ever bring this up is to apologize to you. That was the most insensitive thing to say at the worst possible time. That was absolutely heartless of him. And when I say he still brings it up, there will be times when I'm hugging or playing with my nephew he will say something like, "Remember you were so mad that he was gonna be born?" I'm like, "No. I was mad that you announced the pregnancy not even 10 seconds after I announced that I lost my baby." Not the asshole, not the asshole, not the asshole. Holy crap on a cracker. Has he ever apologized for being a heartless monster to you? Not the asshole, your brother couldn't read a situation if it was printed on a page. What a self-centered, clueless awe. Then your parents' reaction. Wow. Whole family of them. Oh, you mean when my baby died and you said it didn't matter? Not the asshole. And sorry for your loss. Not the asshole. Your brother has no sense of timing. He was so wrapped up in his own happy news that he didn't even hear what had just happened to you. If an asshole had an awe, that's what he'd be. Man. That one hit me in the gut and I don't even know you. I kind of want to hit him right now. Have you ever told him, at some calmer time, how you feel about what he did and how he did it? Because although what he did at the time was bad enough, to bring it up over the years is pretty reprehensible. He should have realized on his own how utterly tone-deaf he was in that moment. If you haven't told him, please tell him. Not the asshole, wildly insensitive. Not the asshole, I don't blame your reaction, especially since you just lost your baby while your brother gained one. Hopefully you eventually apologized, although it sounds like you did because you have a relationship with your nephew. Your brother is the asshole here, mainly because he keeps bringing it up and I can imagine it still hurts. Firstly, I am sorry for your loss. Not the asshole, you had a miscarriage. As much as they have every right to be excited about their own pregnancy, the way they announced was dickish. It would not have killed them to respect what you were going through and postpone their announcement for a while. We had a similar situation where my sil and I were having fertility issues and both of us had experienced MCs. When I finally got pregnant with IVF, I waited to tell Mill and Phil, her parents, till 20 weeks to give her space. It's called reading the room. Not the asshole. You need to grieve, and they didn't care. They could have told your parents in person, and told you later. They were rude and didn't handle it like they should've. I can understand their excitement, but they're adults. This is tough. They're entitled to their happiness, like you're entitled to your grief. But maybe they could have waited to break the news. For that, I'll go with not the asshole. Not the asshole. You were grieving. Sure, it wasn't the nicest reaction, but it seems more than logical for them to think, wow, they just lost their unborn child and are obviously devastated. Maybe I should wait for a more appropriate time to bring up my good news. Don't negate their sad situation with making it about what's going on with me. I was all ready to be upset with you, but damn. I'm so sorry for your loss. This is going to be hard for you no matter what, but yeah, your brother definitely could have picked a better moment. Not the asshole. Can you split this into paragraphs? My eyes hurt. Not the asshole. That was completely insensitive and the wrong time for your brother to be making that announcement. Not the asshole. And if he ever says anything again, lay out the facts for him. I lost my baby and 2 seconds later you completely steamrolled over that. I am happy to have nephew in our lives, but don't ever forget about my loss and how callous and selfish you were that day. Not the asshole. Except for one thing, this would 100% be a NaH situation due to your brother just making an honest mistake because of the emotions of the situation. He'd obviously planned on telling them in advance, and some people really struggle to adjust plans like that in the heat of the moment, especially when it's something big. What makes him the asshole is bringing it up later, as if your reaction wasn't also totally understandable and justified. This one thing is the part that makes him the asshole. So forward to 2 years later, and I love my nephew to death, but my brother still brings it up from time to time and it just makes me feel bad. He needs to get a clue. Not the asshole. Babies aren't just replaceable and swappable objects. They can be your children that you form emotional bonds with even at the 6-week level. A miscarriage can be heartbreaking and another couple's pregnancy doesn't wipe it away. Your brother is horrid. I'm amazed your parents were even happy when he told them and didn't call out how inappropriate a comment he made. Not the asshole. JFC. Your brother needs to read a room. How damn insensitive can a person be? I'm so sorry for your loss. And your blockhead of a brother. Brother is self-absorbed. But the real Oz in this story are the parents. Your daughter comes to you distraught over a miscarriage, and the only thing you can think of is to celebrate that you still get to be grandparents. That is seriously messed up. Your brother should stop bringing it up because it makes him look like a complete awe. He couldn't wait one day to tell your parents. Neither he nor his wife had it in them to offer a shred of compassion or sympathy, but were so self-absorbed that they needed to share the news right then, right there. I'm not saying that the world stops, and he should forget about his own good news. But, come on. One day isn't going to make any difference to them, but would have made a world of difference to you at that time. Not the asshole. Nah. He was too giddy with joy to understand how grief-struck you were, and you were too grief-struck to feel any joy. The timing was just crap all around. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. That timing, woof. He needs to learn how to read the room. Not the asshole. What the fuck? I'm so sorry for your loss and the fact that your brother could not read the room and understand that it wasn't an appropriate time to share their news. Like, who does that? And for your parents to then go along with it instead of making space for you? This breaks my heart. It's wildly insensitive that he still brings this up too. In what universe would anyone think that is okay? Have you explicitly said to him that you'd like him to stop bringing up your miscarriage and that the way the situation transpired was extremely hurtful to you? Not the asshole. Your brother is a jerk for bringing it up like you were the one in the wrong at all. That was totally inappropriate for him to dismiss your miscarriage like it's not traumatic. That announcement could have waited until the next day, or they could have at least had the decency to wait until you left. Tell him to fuck off. Edit. Fixed typo. Not the asshole. His timing was super insensitive, and just disregarded your feelings and loss entirely. He owes you a huge apology. Not the asshole. Honestly, that is a more mild reaction than I would have had. Am I the whole? Am I ass? Am I just high as fuck and can't figure these out? AIJHAFACFTO. NTA. He makes you feel bad. Fuck your brother and Sil. Not the asshole. You were grieving, and it was insensitive of your brother to announce it like that. They should have waited and told your parents in private. A lot of people don't realize how much a miscarriage hurts both physically and emotionally, but they had to have known you were hurting. I know this will be way off, but did they know you were going there to tell them about the miscarriage? Did they know you were telling the parents? If they didn't know, not the asshole for anyone. They didn't know. AMD they were trying to make the best of it. May not have been right, but people get awkward. Not the asshole. Your brother still brings the time he was an insensitive asshole 2 years later. Not the asshole at all, your bro is. I can't believe your brother has never apologized for being so incredibly insensitive, yet has the audacity to keep bringing up your reaction after 2 years. Your brother clearly lacks the ability to feel any bit of compassion towards you, so I wouldn't give any credit to a single word he says about the incident. Not the asshole. Damn, your brother was a insensitive dumbass. He should have told your parents later in private and then you after you had time to grieve. AMIA. AGTS AFTS axed, we are going to write random letters now. Not the asshole. OMFG, that was fucking insensitive. And I can't believe his girlfriend or parents didn't call him out on it as well. Next time he brings it up, don't feel bad and just take it. Rip him a new one for being a fucking insensitive jerk and an asshole for holding it over your head still years later. Not the asshole your brother literally reacted to the loss of your pregnancy with, "Oh well, no harm done, because you still get a baby, it's just mine now." And #X200B. Your brother is such an asshole, I am so sorry for your loss. How cruel. Jesus. Not the asshole. I can't think of a more tactless way to make a pregnancy announcement. Your brother and friend are absolute assholes. Who walks into a room of upset people, finds out that there is a miscarriage, and announces a pregnancy? They couldn't have waited a week or two. Not the asshole. WOOOOOOOOOW. Girl, you are so justified. Not the asshole. Op, you had a miscarriage. How and pathetic does a person have to be to them pull out that kind of card? Brother is the asshole for sure. He couldn't wait a couple of weeks before he told anyone, not shove it right in your parents' faces after you just informing about your miscarriage. NTA. You are grieving. I am sorry for your loss, and not the asshole op. We walked into my parents' house and told them the news and they were heartbroken, and then my brother and his wife came over and they looked like they had something on their mind. And wait, his wife is your friend and did nothing to stop him after hearing you lost your baby? Do tell me you aren't close with her, just keeping it cordially. OMG, not the asshole. My mom's second pregnancy lined up with her sister's first miscarriage. She waited a long time before announcing it, and made sure to privately tell her sister first. They created healthy boundaries so my aunt could grieve while my mom celebrated. They both understood how complex the situation was. My mom knew she was allowed to be happy about her pregnancy, but still felt guilty for being a reminder of her sister's loss. Her sister was very gracious about it all. My mom always said it was tough, but they both got through it. I couldn't ever imagine announcing a pregnancy as someone had just opened up about losing theirs. You deserve time to grieve, and a more sensitive announcement. Your brother owes you an apology. Not the asshole, holy hell. How incredibly rude. Does your brother not see how what they did was awful? Do they have any empathy? The second they heard the sad news they should have shut their mouths and brought it up another time. Next time he brings it up, ask him to really think about how he would have felt if your positions had been swapped that day. Tell him he needs to stop bringing it up and maybe bring it up to your parents, maybe they will help stop him? Not the asshole. I'm sorry your brother was an insensitive ass. I've had 4 miscarriages and you never become desensitized to the trauma. I understand the emotional state you were in. Hugs. P.S. 2 years later your brother is still an insensitive ass. Perhaps it's time to let him know how heartbreaking losing a pregnancy is. Not the asshole. What they did, the whole timing of it was completely insensitive. They saw you guys in pain and still chose to relay their news at that moment instead of waiting. Complete asshole move. Not the asshole. But your brother and his wife are major assholes. Wow, how heartless.